Hello my Patreon subscribers and welcome to my very first process video, um, full of special effects and whiz-bang animations. Just before I put this on, I put lots of books under my little tablet so it could pick up just the right camera angles, and you can see I've worked up a sweat from that, so that's a special effect. Now I took all the books away again, um, and I moved it by the window where there's quite a stunning view. I was going to lie to you and tell you that I've taken all your funds to Bermuda and gone on holiday. I'm in Kiel in Achill Island, which is just over in Mayo. Uh, it's about 3 hours drive from Enniskillen, 6 from Belfast. So that's quite stunning here. Very charming people here. So I guess on my with my friend a spot on the roof there, welcome you to the process video and get on. So I began writing Ignacz as a graphic novel script way back in 2010, and I have here the pre-final draft script, um, which I thought I would commemorate by getting put in a lovely little booklet, and you can see it there. I think this might be the oldest script that I have on digital file. There's a few pages that are handwritten from other ones. I generally handwrite a lot of my stuff before typing it up. Yeah, it's an irritating time-added little quirk. There you can see the poetry style composition for the first chapter. So I discovered the story of Ignacz while working on an epic about political corruption in London during a similar time period. And what I took away from that was that I had to boil down the story to its bare bones. So if you can see in the original script, each chapter that you're now seeing in the novel is actually a chapter in a page in the graphic novel. So so there's probably 2 days worth of material. This is, in case you haven't seen him yet, this is Ignacz, and this is him actually circa 1906, 07 maybe. And this was the page of the artist guide, and this is yeah. So one page of the script was in unboiled to create the novel, if you like, to form a chapter, and putting the meat back on the bones. I think it really freshens the story out a bit. I'll be sticking to the same structure working from the script book and Wasserstein's biography, which, if you've been reading the commentaries, is the definitive source on Ignacz. It's really the only piece of extended media besides my own work that has him. This is it here, The Secret Lives of Trebitsch Lincoln. It's better than my novel. My novel might win a Pulitzer or something, but this is much, much better. Sometimes I'm going to be ripping the hell off him. A lot of time I'm just going to take a lot of the liberties of more access to secondary, tertiary sources. I'm going to play with the poetry a bit more. While I pretty much I have a few stories about Ignacz that Wasserstein disproves, but I'm just going to chuck them in there anyway because why not? This is a phenomenal piece of work. It's published by Penguin, and Bernard Wasserstein, Secret Lives of Trevich Lincoln. Um, yeah, um, yeah, Bernard Wasserstein. Okay, so more space now to flesh things out, and um, a lot of the rewriting is backtracking and doing make use of new sources. So starting in Budapest, the internet very quickly became the new researcher's friend. I learned a lot I didn't know about Jewish outfit and practice. Google Maps helped me locate the distances between things. Wikipedia helped me establish train services. And um, at university, we were taught never to use Wikipedia for writing, which, while recognizing that it has flaws, seems to me an elitist sort of very counterintuitive way of looking at things. So yeah, I should really give some money to Wikipedia soon. Google Images helped me come up with period pictures. Budapest 1900, Whitechapel 1900. There's a small writer's website I'd recommend called With Painted Words, set up by a guy called Jay Faulkner and run by Jay. Um, I've taken, that's withpaintedwords.com, flash fiction, if you're into that. It's brilliant. Um, I've taken paint with words as a sort of mantra to inform and help focus my descriptive writing, so that comes into play a lot. So we get our first location hop, London, and that's where there's visual meditation that I go through when I'm painting with words. That's where this comes into play, and set me in front of a photo or a video, and it's a great prompt for writing and import something other than the facts or notions. The flip side of that is sometimes you get a picture in your mind that fixes your instinct to just include it. Um, where do you get your ideas from? How do your ideas get to you? Uh, This happened to me with Epstein and the Bristol hostel, and I could kind of feel the walls and smell it, the damp and um, the chip lining and the stains. I got a very strong picture, so I tried to replicate that in that chapter. Um, and again, various aspects of when I had been in churches that weren't my local Presbyterian church. I would maybe end up on a holiday and end up in a weird Methodist place down in the country, and the pew wouldn't fit right, and it was my back would be crouched, and they would make me stand up and sit down to get honest interview pills, and I felt very sick. Um, so the Montreal chapters, again, Google Maps, church records, all flesh out our protagonist much more than the constrained treatment that I had for the comic book. Um, I was reading the history section of the Rough Guide to Canada and the wildlife section, which is where I got an idea. Um, it hasn't really played out yet that Ignacz Timotheus Trevich might be allergic to nature and agricultural environments. We've only really seen him around cities so far, which is interesting. I've not explored this yet, so I might. Let's see. Something I learned going back to the source material, Wasserstein is king. Um, the first three chapters take place across 5 years, eight if you count the prologue. And then chapter four, I just noticed, is set over a week. I found that useful and give me more confidence. You and I can settle down and follow what's going on. Um, it's set across a week. Actually, I probably should mention it's about a week after Ignatz's 23rd birthday. So he's still quite achieving some incredible things at a relatively young age, um, regardless of how you feel about them. And that's something I'm curious to know. I mean, I know Ignac's a story. I've been living with him for 8 years now. What do you think of him? How do you feel around him? Do you like the guy? Do you think he's a bit of a prick? Um, are you fairly neutral? What sort of emotions is he triggering off in you? Um, write a comment. Write a comment on the Patreon because it's no big deal. There's only a few people. Um, it's really cool, and you can help me and help yourself create a group because we're all doing this wonderful thing for me and my dreams of imperial power. So get on in there and talk on it. Um, so hopefully the church arc, the takeover, isn't too confusing. It's all been set up for you. And that's pretty much it. Just to say that Wasserstein isn't my only source. I kind of wonder if it does feel like it sometimes because it's such a brilliant book. But there's an awful lot online about Trebitsch, and I even checked back recently. Um, it looks like it's maybe double, tripled in the last few years. So I've still an awful lot of catching up to do. Um, and all those sources turn up something different. But for this process video, that's pretty much it. A little wary of repeating what I said in the commentaries. So if you have any questions or to ask or comments, please leave a note and I'll address them in my next video. As I said, I'd love to hear what you think. Special thanks to John Robbins for a certain subscriber bonus that's coming up soon, as well as his donation free of charge in the comic art that some of you are seeing. Um, uh, so next month when I do this, I want questions from you folk and I will answer them. And I'll make this a much more interactive sort of feel, rather than just me talking to you and when the fuck is this over. Um, thank you. So thank you to John and thank you to Peter, Miguel, David, uh, Sean. Um, keep reading, guys, and I love the money. This means more than money, though. Um, have a great week. Hope to see you soon.